Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Todd Strong, and today we're going to be talking about Gut Health 101. Now, I am a certified functional medicine practitioner, which just means that I don't use drugs or surgeries to help people heal their bodies. And today we're going to be talking about the gut, why it's so important, especially when it comes to immune function, inflammation, and mental health, anxiety, and depression. And we're going to be talking about the symptoms that go along with this to help you determine if you do have a gut health issue. Because this is something that's trending, and I think that gut health is the root problem that's not addressed by a lot of doctors, because it is the first exposure or connection between you and the outside world. Because every time you eat, if you eat something that has bacteria, a virus, a parasite, a toxin on it, it gets straight into your bloodstream and straight into your system. And we're going to be talking about why that is so important. So first off, let's talk about constipation. So the example that I use for this for all my patients is that if you're producing 5 bags of trash every day and you only take out 3 at the end of the week, then what happens is your body or your house slowly builds up a trash accumulation. And what it happens, you can imagine that over years of this happening, that house starts to become putrid, it starts to stink, it's not a fun place to be. And so if we take the house analogy in your body, what happens is that you'll become fatigued, you could have autoimmune issues, you can have chronic inflammation, you can have anxiety, depression, you can have weight issues, hormonal issues, gas, bloating, constipation. All of these tie back into what's called a toxicity issue. This is why detoxing is such a big topic, and it's something that I heavily believe in, because we're exposed to an unlimited number of toxins today, from the food that we ingest, from the lotions, the shampoos, everything that we put on our skin. Just touching receipts now, we know that that has certain impacts on our health. So it's very important to understand toxicity, how to address it, are you at risk for it, and what are the signs and symptoms of it. So if you're not going to the bathroom at least 1 to 2 times per day, that is abnormal. So you're taking in certain products and trash, and you're not eliminating it from the body, which will lead to these toxicity issues. And that's where those symptoms come into play. So there are certain things, certain herbals that you can use, like senna leaf is something that you can use in order to help move the bowels. Magnesium, increase your fiber. Metamucil, increase your water intake. There are certain foods like kiwi and papaya, digestive enzymes. There are a lot of things that you can do. If you have any specific questions, just comment that below and I'll make sure to get back to you. But you have to get rid of this problem. They're even saying now that there's a huge correlation between constipation in older adults and Alzheimer's. So if you're older, if you're getting up into your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and you're constipated, you're not going every day, then you could be at a higher risk for Alzheimer's. And that was something that I just read the other day. But let's go to gas and bloating now. Gas and bloating, this typically happens when you have like a food allergy or food intolerance. Most of the time, you'll notice it with dairy, gluten, soy, wheat, corn, sugary foods is when that will happen. But it can also happen with peanuts. It can also happen with citrus foods. Any type of food that you eat, you can develop a food allergy and intolerance. And this mainly stems from leaky gut, and I'll explain that in just a second. But I made another video, go back and check it. It's how to use a pulse oximeter to check and see if you have any food allergies and intolerances. So if you need help finding it, just let me know and I'll link that to you. But it's a really cool at-home test that you can do. It's very non-expensive to see if you have any of these food allergies and intolerances. So let's go back and let's talk about the gas and bloating. So one of the main issues that I see with most people that have autoimmune issues and they have an immune system dysfunction is that they probably have something known as leaky gut. So my other analogy for this is that if you have a prison and you're trying to keep all of the bad guys in and keep them from creating havoc throughout, the city, then our gut is very similar to that, because we ingest these food materials or even the air we breathe in, and bacteria, viruses, parasites, and toxins come in. Our digestive tract is meant to keep that isolated to the digestive tract, detox it if we need to, and eliminate it so that it doesn't get into the bloodstream and affect our bodies. Now, if you develop leaky gut and you get all these little holes in your gut, and this can be caused from stress, inflammatory foods, it can be caused by medications. There are multiple things that can cause leaky gut. Stress is the main one, especially in my experience, that over time stress just accumulates more and more and people end up developing leaky gut. What happens now is that these bacteria, viruses, proteins from your food, parasites, they can go into your bloodstream. And if they happen to attack your thyroid, that looks like Hashimoto's. If they happen to attack your heart, it's myocarditis. If they happen to attack your joints, it's arthritis. So you can see where I'm going with this. A lot of these itises or a lot of these immune system dysfunctions come from a broken barrier in the gut. 70 to 80% of your immune system is actually located here in the gut. That's because it has to fight off any foreign invaders that are coming. So obviously you're going to put most of your troops on the front lines where they need to stop the invasion from happening. And a lot of practitioners don't necessarily understand that, or you just have a drug or a surgery is your only way to combat that, except you don't educate your patients, which is the point of this video, for them to understand. So that is how all of that correlates into the immune system dysfunction, into these autoimmune diseases that we see, and ties back into leaky gut. Now back to the food allergies and intolerances. If I have a protein from a peanut that leaks out into my bloodstream, it shouldn't be there. So the immune system says, hey, it flags it and it's like, why are you here? You're not supposed to be here. And then you end up having an immune response to this peanut, which looks like allergies or intolerances, very severe allergies, because we know peanut allergies are becoming more and more. That's due to fungus being on the peanuts, but that's another topic for another video. So moving on to indigestion, one other observation that I've seen from my clinical practice is that this can lead to malabsorption of certain minerals and vitamins. Now, what does this lead to in the long term? This leads to Hashimoto's, it can lead to fatigue, it can lead to protein deficiencies. So not only does leaky gut cause this malabsorption issue and this indigestion issue, but if you're not breaking down these foods, it can affect your overall energy systems, because you have a bottleneck if you don't have the appropriate amounts of zinc, magnesium, sodium, potassium, whatever it may be. You're very limited, especially if you're not breaking down your food as well. Then that will cause vitamin and mineral deficiency. So if you get blood work and you know that you see that you have a deficiency, this malabsorption or this indigestion issue can be a very big problem. Now, when it comes to weight loss, one thing that I have seen is that people tend to have a lot of fecal matter in them. Some people, even if they are going to the bathroom 1 to 2 times a day, depending on how much they're putting in, it may not be equivalent. I've seen people have anywhere between 10 to 20 pounds of fecal matter in them on x-rays at any one time. And one, that attributes to weight gain. But another thing that will happen is that you will bring in water to dilute the toxicity. So you'll hold on to more water. So if you know that you're not peeing, then or you're craving, you're thirsty all the time, which obviously get checked for diabetes, then what can happen is you'll feel bloated and you're going to hold more water. And water is very heavy. So I don't know if you've ever tried to pick up like a 5-gallon bucket of water, but it tends to be extremely heavy. So if you're holding on to water weight, that is something that will happen. You may not have as much adipose tissue or fat tissue as you think. A lot of it could be due to fecal matter in the gut, and it could also be due to excess water trying to dilute the toxicity and also trying to help with inflammation. So that is something I see very commonly. But not only does this toxicity affect the weight, it also affects the hormones. Now, what I see, especially when it comes to thyroid patients, is that they make the huge issue or the huge mistake that they're addressing the thyroid and not the liver. Let me explain. The liver processes 60% of your thyroid hormone. So if you see somebody that has thyroid issues and you're not addressing the liver, if you're not doing a detox with them first to see what happens, then you're leaving a piece of the puzzle out of it. And then they become reliant on the medication because you never address the issue. This can also, since the liver is a huge process, or has a lot of different, I guess you could say, responsibilities, it also detoxifies your body. It detoxifies, but it also does the biotransformation of your hormones. So if your body is very toxic and your liver is having to take over this process of detoxification because the bowels aren't moving, then it's going to sacrifice the hormonal issues because it's saying, I got to get these toxins out before I will worry about making estrogen, testosterone, progesterone. And so it will lead to mood swings. It can lead to irritability, menstrual cycle issues, decreases in testosterone. So even these hormonal issues come back to gut health. And this is what I was seeing from clinical practice. So you see now how the immune system plays into this, how inflammation, but what about anxiety and depression? 70% of your serotonin is actually manufactured in your gut, and all of these vitamins and minerals that are essential for dopamine, GABA, norepinephrine, epinephrine, all these neurotransmitters are, guess what, absorbed in the gut. So if we're lacking in serotonin production, if we don't have the vitamins and minerals to make dopamine, norepinephrine, GABA, all of these neurotransmitters that are responsible for proper mental health regulation, then what will happen is that we can get anxiety and we can get depression. So understanding how gut health is so intricately entwined into all of these processes, it doesn't make sense to just attack the thyroid or just address the hormones or try to adjust the weight issues if you're not first addressing the gut. You have to build a solid foundation in gut health before you can start addressing these big problems. I've seen it so many times where we address somebody's gut health and all of these other issues tend to go away. And it's the lowest hanging fruit that you can address and not have to worry about these complex, medications or these complex programs. You can do it very simply just by cutting out inflammatory foods, doing a few supplements to detox the body. Senna is something that's really good for constipation. Senna leaf, it can cause abdominal cramping, so just be warned. High doses of glutamine, aloe vera extract, marshmallow extract for the gut to heal up the leaky gut, using digestive enzymes to help break down the food a little bit easier to take off the stress on your body. And then also, just working on de-stressing your body, some deep breathing, journaling, meditation, whatever it may be. So I hope this video was helpful. If you found it helpful, please like, follow, share this with anybody who may be struggling with gut health or one of these issues. And my mission is just to help as many people as possible and educate you all so that you can, take control of your health. Thanks everybody for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.